No. See, something happened to me that just... Hearing you talk about it tonight, it's important to me that I'm not bananas. I mean, I'm a fairly straight, down-the-line person. Working. I had a good job at DCU. I'd gone back to work after having my daughter leave. My husband teaches engineering at DCU, and I went back to work when she was 5, when she started school. And we'd leave her with Daniel's parents, my husband's parents. His mother would pick her up from school, and I'd collect her after work. And last year, she was dying to learn how to swim. And the school had a thing. They'd take the class down to the CRC in Clontarf on Wednesdays. She was learning very well. No problem. Loved the water. Couldn't wait for Wednesdays and swimming. Daniel used to take her to the pool on Saturdays and everything. But for such a bright, outgoing, happy girl, she was a bit, she had a problem sleeping at night. She was afraid of the dark. She never wanted you to leave her. One of us would have to lie there with her until she went off, and even when she did, she'd often have to come in and sleep with us. And I would say to her, "What's wrong when you go to bed?" But, you know, in the daytime she wouldn't care. Nighttime was a million miles away. But at night, there were children in the walls, there was someone coming up the stairs, and there was always a man standing across the road who she'd see. Like, there were loads of things. I wanted to bring her to the doctor, but Daniel said we should just be careful about what books she read and what she saw on the telly and all of this. But, I mean, she used to even be scared that when she got up in the morning that Mommy and Daddy would be gone and she'd be in the house on her own. That was when she told Daniel's mother, and all the furniture and carpets and everything would be gone. I mean, you know. So I said to her, if you were ever scared, to ring me, and I'd come and collect her. And she knew our numbers. She was very good at learning numbers off and everything. She knew ours and Daniel's and mine at work. She knew them all. But then, in March last year, the school had a sponsored swim, and the kids were going to swim a length of the pool. And I promised I was going to watch her, but I was late out of work, and I was only going to be in time to meet her afterwards. But when I got there, there was an ambulance, and I thought like the pool is in a central remedial clinic, so I thought like it was just somebody being dropped there. I didn't really pay any attention. But when I got in, there was no one in the pool, and one of the teachers was there with a group of kids, and she was crying, and some of the children were crying. And this woman came over, another one of the mums, and said there'd been an accident, and Neve had hit her head in the pool, and she'd been in the water, and they'd been trying to resuscitate her, but she said she was going to be all right. And I didn't believe it was happening. I thought it must have been someone else. And I was brought into a room, and Neve was on a table. And it was a table for table tennis. And an ambulance man was giving her the kiss of life. And she was in her bathing suit. And the ambulance man said he didn't think that what he was doing was working. And he didn't know if she was alive. And he wrapped her in a towel, and he put her in the back of the ambulance, and I got in the back with him. And they radioed on ahead. They were going to put her on a machine in Beaumont and try to revive her there. But the ambulance man knew, I think. She wasn't breathing, and he just knew. said if I wanted to say goodbye to her in the hospital, in the ambulance in case I didn't get a chance at the hospital. And I gave her a little hug. And I told her her mommy loved her very much. She was freezing cold. She just looked asleep, but her lips were gone blue and she was dead. And I don't think I have to tell you how hard it was between me and Daniel as well. I mean, it had happened so fast. At the funeral I thought I could just go in and lift her out of the coffin and it would be the end of all this. Daniel was. I don't know if he actually blamed me, but he became very busy in his work, just keeping himself in. I was more just, I didn't really know what I was doing, just walking around the house wanting to. With Daniel's mother fussing around the place, just months of this, not really talking about it like. But, and then one morning Daniel had gone to work. I was in bed. I usually lay there for a few hours, just trying to stay asleep really, I suppose. And the phone rang, and I wasn't going to get it, but it rang for a long time. Eventually it stopped and I was drifting off. But then it started again, and it rang for a long time. And I thought it must have been someone who knew I was there trying to get me, so I went down and answered it. And the line was very faint. It was like across from him, and there were voices, and I couldn't really hear what they were saying. And then I heard Neve. And she just said, "Mummy." I mean, I wasn't sure whether this was a dream or her leaving us had been a dream. And I just said, yes. And she said she wanted me to come and collect her, and that she was at Nana's. And she was in the bedroom, but Nana wasn't there, and she was scared. There were children knocking in the walls, and a man was standing across the road, and he was going to cross the road. And would I come and get her? And I said I would, of course I would. And I dropped the phone, and I ran out in just a t-shirt I was wearing. And I drove to Daniel's mother's house. I mean, I could hardly see, I was crying so much. I mean, I knew she wasn't going to be there. I knew she was gone. But to think that wherever she was, Daniel's mother got a doctor and I slept for a day or two. Daniel thought, I should just get over it, but I thought he should listen to what happened to me. I mean, what can help that? If she's out there, she still needs me.